Well, now the House Intelligence and Judiciary Committees are taking depositions from the 51 former intelligence officials to find out why they signed that letter with no actual factual information. Joining me right now is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee, Congressman Mike Turner. Mr. Chairman, good to have you this morning. Thanks for being here.
Good morning, Maria. Thanks for having me.
I want to ask you about those depositions that you've been taking. I know that you spoke with John Brennan and Clapper, but first, I've got to get your take on the breaking news of the morning, and that was your colleague, James Comer, just telling us that the informant is missing. He's been talking with whistleblowers and informants, and now he can't find one of them. What do you think is behind this?
Well, this is certainly very disturbing. And I can tell you, Chairman Comer is doing an excellent job in following the money. The information that he is discovering is very, very troubling. And it's information that was in the hands of the FBI and in the hands of the Department of the Treasury, and certainly appears to be evidence of criminal activity on the part of the Biden family. He's done an excellent job in getting to the bottom of this, exposing what is this trail of money that has no explanation, and for which even the Treasury Department and others were identifying as troubling transactions. But certainly the FBI should be looking at these as evidences of a crime. But in fact, it appears the FBI is being, less than helpful, if not obscuring the congressional, obstructing the congressional investigation.
What can you tell us about the 51 spies and your depositions? What have you learned?
Well, this is very, very troubling, Maria. As you know, we already have uncovered through the depositions an admission that from one of the 51 that this was done totally to create the talking point that you just played. In fact, these people signed on to a letter without any evidence whatsoever that there was any Russian intervention or that this was Russia misinformation, solely for the purposes of helping Joe Biden in his debate try to tell the American public that the Hunter Biden laptop wasn't real, when in fact now we know that it's real, and the filth that's there and all of the evidence of financial transactions which are highly questionable there are real. We had Brennan, the former CIA director, who along with Clapper, the head of the ODNI, was one of the big perpetrators of the Russia hoax against the Trump administration, who admitted in his deposition, well, this was just political. Well, what that translates to is that this was just a lie.
So, yeah, it was just a lie, and we just saw the soundbite that Joe Biden used it at the debate. And he basically said that's what he wanted. He wanted to be able to say intelligence officials think it's garbage, and he said it. And now, then an election happened, and he fooled the American people again.
Well, what's really troubling is people, as they look at that clip, should know that Joe Biden knew that he was lying. Joe Biden knew that he was lying to the American public, and he used these 51 who had, past credentials and intelligence to claim that something was Russian misinformation, when in fact it was absolutely true. And it was the activities of his son. It was the activities of his family. And the information on the laptop of very questionable transactions are what Chairman Comer is tracking down. Because there's unexplained infusions of money into the Biden family that really has no cause and understanding. At this point, it looks like criminal activity.
This is totally stunning. I know that you're just back from a trip. You visited Jordan and Egypt and Israel. I want to take a short break and then ask you what you found out. Stay with us. We are talking with Chairman Mike Turner. We will be back here on Sunday Morning Futures right after this. Welcome back. I'm back with House Intelligence Committee Chairman, Congressman Mike Turner. And Congressman, I know that you just returned from a trip to Egypt as well as Israel and Jordan. Can you tell us a bit about what you found?
Right. We wanted to make certain that we went to our allies in the Middle East, as we're focused heavily on China and Russia and Ukraine. We want to let them know that we still consider them important, that we're there to be supportive, and that certainly our goals and objectives are peace in the region. We were very startled to find that in all of the instances, every one of the nations were hungry for U.S. leadership. They were calling for the administration to support initiatives in the area, including the Abraham Accords from the Trump administration's accomplishment. And they're not finding much support. They're not asking for military support. They're not asking for financial support. They're just asking for leadership.
Well, I mean, what is our strategy? I mean, you've got the FBI that keeps telling us the threat that is communist China. Christopher Wray can't say it enough, but what are they doing about it?
Well, certainly in the Middle East, they feel that the exact same concern of China coming into the area and gaining influence. And here in the United States, of course, we see the evidences of Chinese police stations that are just now being uncovered, and the FBI is moving. While we have Chinese balloon going across our most sensitive security sites, you certainly see that this administration's asleep at the wheel when it comes to trying to counter and answer Chinese attempts to expand their influence and really to penetrate the United States.
So how much of a disadvantage is America at now after all of this surveillance underway by communist China?
Well, this is certainly very difficult. I mean, we took effort to try to weed out Chinese technology within our telecommunication systems to try to protect our data, even as China continues to increase its hacking of, for economic espionage and espionage against our country. But as China tries to get a foothold in our country itself, the FBI, the administration, they've been more interested in saying that Americans are a threat to America than that China is a threat to America. And their priorities need to change, and certainly we're trying to impact that.
Well, that is just outrageous. American citizens are the threat. Meanwhile, economic security is national security. The president and Kevin McCarthy pushed their debt negotiations till next week. The president doesn't seem to be budging about spending limitations, Congressman.
Right, and that's very concerning because the irrational position that the president has taken that spending is not related to debt is not supported by the American public. The American public get it. Too much spending increases debt and results in too much debt. So they want us to bring the president to the table to get a package and negotiate. Kevin McCarthy's done a great job in putting on the president's agenda this package that has passed the House, showing that we have the support of the American public. We need to rein in spending. We need to protect our economy. The president needs to come to the table and negotiate.
Yeah, and real quick, you think we're going to get good news on Ukraine soon? Real quick.
Absolutely. I think that what we've done in supporting Ukraine with new weapon systems, training, we're going to see them push Russia back to the border.
Wow. Well, Congressman, good to see you. Thanks very much. Happy Mother's Day to all.